Databases really are the key to gathering, manipulating, sorting, and giving you the information you need to make good decisions. Databases is where nearly everything happens sooner or later. All that stuff that I was talking about on my website, those stats, a database does all that, and then it sorts it out and gives me the means and averages and all that other stuff. In information in a source that I can use, okay? So while you're here, I'll tell you this, I'll go even further. Do yourself a favor while you're in college, learn Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver is a tough, tough program. It's the #1 web design program there is. I mean, all the web designers are using Dreamweaver right now. It took me quite a while to learn it. It's the second hardest thing I ever had to learn. I learned it on my own. Bought a book, Dreamweaver for Dummies. And actually the book I bought that was the most helpful was Dreamweaver, the Missing Manual. I spent several months learning Dreamweaver, but I can tell you the reason I say that important, the Dreamweaver classes are in the Fine Arts Building. I tell you, it's spectacular elective while you're here. The reason why there's probably not 1,000 people in North Louisiana that's real good with Dreamweaver. So to have something like that on your resume would be spectacular, to say you know Dreamweaver. So I'm just telling you that, for your own benefit. I can tell you that, and I make this joke all the time with my wife. She don't like it either. But I literally believe I could do brain surgery if I had the right tools and the internet. I'm telling y'all. You can learn how to do anything if you've got the internet. I used to like to cook when I had time, and I decided I wanted to make a big Wellington. It sounded cool. Big Wellington. I thought, okay, I'm going to make a redneck version of Big Wellington. What did I do? I went online and got about 25 beef Wellington recipes and built my recipe out of those 20 or 25. So I'm telling you, when I'm right in the middle of this stuff that I'm working on, this dynamic database stuff, if I run into a question, a problem, I get one of those horrible error messages that you get sometimes when you go to a website, there ain't nobody to ask. Man, I'm in new ground out here. There ain't nobody around here that can answer my question. What do? I copy that error message, put it in the space bar there on Google, and hit search. And I find the answer to all this stuff. I'm telling you, you can get the answer to just about anything. You can do just, it was funny. Oh, I know, I was working on a wreath, a Christmas wreath. Yeah, I get sucked into a lot of different things. My wife was wanting a new wreath. Well, she wanted a big old bow. Y'all know, big old bow. Big old bow. And where do you get a big old bow like my wife wants? You don't, you make it. So I thought, okay, I can do this. Now I can make anything. So what did? I went to the internet. Found a site that said how to make a big old bow. Well, I swear. And I made it. It was a good bow. I ended up making 3 or 4. I'm proud of them. I said, look, I made some bows. Yeah, I'm telling you, you can do anything. I'm telling you, with the internet and all this technology has increased our knowledge. And y'all know, and Dennis Lauer said this one time, and I thought this was pretty cool. 2,000 years ago, the amount of information that was in this world, the amount of knowledge that was in this world, there's a finite amount of what we know. 2,000 years ago, it took that amount of knowledge something like 100 years to double. I don't know the exact number, but it took like 2,000 years ago, it took 100 years for them to know twice as much as they knew. Y'all see what I'm talking about? It's kind of hard to explain. What do you think it takes today for the amount of knowledge that we have to double? Yeah, something like 3 years. Yeah, I don't know the exact number. But it went, and I think it was more than 100 years back in those days. I think it was something like 300, 400, 500 years. But it takes about 3 years. And that interval is shrinking all the time because of technology. Now, going back to the question, can you have too much information? Yeah. And it's starting to get harder and harder, even for these information systems to get a grip on the amount of information out there because the rate of change. The rate of change. Look at how much information we got. Man, everything happens inside one ERP program. You know what ERP is? Enterprise Resource Planning. It literally is a piece of software where all the processes in a company are handled. You know, and SAP has created the #1 software out there. Well, I'll tell you how important it is. The part I was involved in, I worked for an electrical distributor. We supplied a bunch of stuff to them. The program when they rolled it out, the part I was involved in is the storeroom where they keep all their maintenance parts, light bulbs and batteries and flashlights and all the electrical stuff that we supply. In that program, it had such a tight control on the inventory that they kept on site that when IP inspection, I remember the IP numbers, we took back, or actually as the stuff went through the system, we started maintaining ownership of everything that we put in their storeroom until one of their employees picked it up off the shelf. In other words, we owned it until they used it. And of course, that sounds like that was doing us bad, and it was, but the first year that they implemented that program, just in Mansfield Paper Mill alone, they saved $8 million. And of course, they didn't save it. They pushed it all out to their vendors. We all paid it. But our part probably wasn't, maybe $10,000. And the other vendors maybe 20, 30, 40. But in other words, it took $8 million out of that equation. And remember, what's the profit equation? Profit equals what? Sales minus cost. It took $8 million off of that cost in that equation. Was it a good decision? Yeah, absolutely. Even if they paid SAP $1 million for that program. Yeah, within the first 2 months they paid it off. So it's that important. But you see, when you can micromanage cost, that's exactly what happens. And that's your job as a manager. That's a technology system, okay?